based in America.
Shield wouldn't really have too many terribly. I mean, they probably have some like mutants and stuff or minor altered humans on staff, but they're
I guess what I meant is
mostly
like they have
staff
connections.
of
All the people
normal
have ties.
humans.
All the heroes they have ties to are American heroes or
Yeah,
American-based
more or
heroes.
less. I mean, we've established they've got a lot of close ties to a lot of European heroes in our games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
And all of
that's
that
more
isn't to say that they don't. They also are a CIA analogy, right? So they definitely have agents
yeah,
in all of the
yeah.
places we mentioned, right? But they're like undercover.
Right,
So
right.
like that would be almost a fun game to play in a way. Would be like Shield agents undercover. Your Bond, James Bond.
Yeah, well, that's what Dan was trying to do with Agent 42, and then the guy got crippled by a snake lady.
Yeah, yeah,
It was a rough go for him. But
yeah.
was he?
He made some bad life decisions, I think.
Was he a Shield agent though?
He was. He was. He worked for Doctor Doom.
No, there's his first.
Yeah, and he was on the bad side of Doctor Doom. So, but he went off on his own. That was the big mistake there, in a major crisis. And then actually, and really, what screwed him was the bad luck he had in that encounter.
Yeah.
Because that woman was not that tough compared to him.
Didn't she like crit and he crit failed or something like that?
Yeah, and then she crushed him for like 3 consecutive turns, right?
Yeah.
Because he would refuse. He's like, never give up, never surrender. And then he got all of his bones broken.
I feel really bad for most of Dan's characters. Just saying.
Yeah.
I feel like he's hard on him.
All right. So we're
and then I think then Ralph, he's had some long dark nights of the soul down in the bunker, and like at the bottom of the Younger Sea, trying to avoid Shield agents, and he's like, there's no way this is ever going to get better unless I die. And
the Shield
so,
isn't in the active manhunt though.
They're not. I thought that's what Jimmy's his character, Holly.
Yeah, they've got an arrest warrant out on you, but like hasn't been really pressured too badly to go after you. There has been a little bit, but you're not on the run mostly from Shield agents. Like it's mostly Irish police, you know. So.
Okay. Which kind of sucks because those are all of his friends, anyways.
Yeah, it hasn't escalated to that point yet.
Okay. Yeah. Then. But I think what he's come to is, I need to take some pretty major steps to change the future in my life, because as it stands now, either I'm going to die or people that I care about are going to die, or both. And so that's why he has approached Reed Richards. And we can play something before that point, but that's why he's approached Reed Richards about finding the Reality Stone.
So I think we were at a position where we were looking at contacting Reed, and I think you were kind of at a point where we were right around the time of right before the entry into the Sorcerer Supreme contest.
Yep, I think so.
So 6 to 7 days to get back would probably put you right after the Sorcerer Supreme contest, and then we'll see Ralph continue on that. It should be no problem because there's no real risk of there is a risk of permanent death, but it's very minuscule. It's very unlikely. So I don't think there would be any real reason for us to worry about what happens there. I mean, you guys, Aaron may not win, right? Somebody else could become the Sorcerer Supreme and it could go real badly, but it's not going to be anything that would prevent us from jumping onto the other side of it,
Right.
Because, I mean, even if somebody else does become the Sorcerer Supreme, it's not like the world's instantly going to turn into the Dark Dimension.
I don't know. What about Doom? He's pretty bad. No, actually, Doom's not the one I'm worried about. Dr. Lancaster.
There's a lot of people to be worried about in that
Actually, yeah.
competition.
Did you say that Aunt Rod is a part of it?
Yeah.
No, I'm most worried about her.
Yeah, we've got
She's bad news.
We've got bad guys here. Baron Mordo,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Lancaster, the Russian magician Phantasma,
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Doom.
She's really powerful, too, isn't she?
What?
She's really powerful, isn't she?
Yeah, she is quite powerful. I mean, everybody in that is pretty powerful. Morgan Le Fay, that's pretty serious. So.
Like, and is she like the actual Morgan Le Fay, like the King Arthur?
Yep, and Nemesis, Malik, Delilah's brother. Plus the racist Atlanteans, who are probably not the worst position, because they're just going to be like, of course I've earned this position. I'm the greatest, and I'm going to take care of protecting Atlantis and ignoring the surface world. So
yeah,
it'll be like almost as if any other person, any good guy got it, I would say, more or less.
Yeah.
But they would be unlikely to come to your aid.
They're not going to cause active harm as the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, they're not going to cause active harm, and they would probably try to stop most of the major crisis.
Yeah. And even if Doom, and this is maybe me speaking, I gotta turn. Even if Doom became the Sorcerer Supreme, I don't think it would be that bad.
No. I mean, he might use his position to become the ruler of the world.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but even like a world ruled by Doctor Doom is not the worst world.
It's not the worst world, right? It's a totalitarian.
It's really not.
It's a totalitarian dictatorship where the robots spy on you in your house while you're sleeping. But
if you don't do anything wrong, you have no reason to hide.
Yeah, you'll be taken care of, somewhat. Yeah. You'll have the bare minimum.
I mean, what's the average GDP? Or not GDP? The average, whatever that mean is for a citizen of Latveria is like super high.
It's gotta be. It's really low. They don't produce much, right? Because they've been forced to use early 20th century technology.
But I mean, like, I guess that's true. But I guess I'm using the wrong scale. Like, just speaking.
What is their like? Yeah, but what's their lifespan? It's probably like 80 years. You know.
Yeah, like a healthy 80 years.
Yeah. Except for the rebels, they live like 20.
Those guys aren't really Latvians.
Oh yeah, that's right. Those aren't included in the census data.
No, absolutely not. Those aren't citizens.
Yeah, 100% loyalty. So
yeah, so that's where he's at. All right, so we're saying like a week, Sorcerer Supreme happens. He's like, whoa, that was so that goes on, and then
we will in like any good solo book, we'll put a little reference card at the beginning and be like, go see the event book page for those events, as Autopsy's like flying back down and landing in his bunker. He's like, wow, I can't believe those challenges I faced with Aaron in the challenge for the Sorcerer Supreme. Hopefully we're able to move on from this and come to a better place. And then they'll be like, yeah, see books 1 to 5 of the challenge for the Sorcerer Supreme event, true believers.
Yeah, exactly. People debate like, why was Autopsy included in that? such a weird, like, I don't know, just like there'd be arguments like, why was he in that? His book isn't about that stuff. He's all moody and depressed. Doesn't fit.
He was, yeah. Yep, that's true. So, as you sit there, there's a solid rain going on. As you look out on the dingy Dublin streets.
I wish I was a god again. That's right. My life sucks right now. Yeah. He's just in the bunker. He probably I think the first thing he does, he gets back. He lets Victoria and Futon know that he's okay. Maybe no time has passed in our world.
No, it's been like 3 days.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he probably touches base with them, and he's like, "Hey, I'm okay. When I can actually see you, I'll fill you all in."
They're under observation these days, so
Yeah.
it's become impossible to meet them. They've been moved into witness protection forcibly.
Oh, screw that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Witness protection? What is it like? Why?
It's more of like a house arrest, really.
Yeah. Okay.
So, because you're a wanted criminal, I mean, it's not really an arrest because they can still contact you, but you don't get a response or anything like that. But Futon messaged you like, we're being observed secretly. Sometimes can't talk long. Shields on my case.
Yeah. Okay.
Or the Irish government's got their bureau on us.
Yeah. Okay. So I think he probably tries to contact them as like simply and quickly as he can. Says, "Hey, I'm okay. I love you. I'm going to make this all better." Wow.
Directorate of Military Intelligence.
What's that?
Their spy agency.
Okay. Military intelligence?
Yep.
They don't have like a civil branch of that?
You mean like an FBI?
Yeah.
They do, but that's a primarily investigative agency, right? So those people are probably following around, but I mean that's a little out of their pay league, you know. You're kind of like an international arms dealer level, you know.
Yeah. Well, I guess I feel flattered.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know. I feel like yeah, maybe he's that powerful. Yeah, I guess he's that powerful. He could destroy the city of Dublin, so.
Yeah, you could do massive amounts of damage. Hey, look, Daniel's here.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, I just saw you guys. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about to play some Marvel.
Yeah, if you want to jump in, you feel free. If you want to, I'll just pass you a character or whatever. So, or you can sit and watch.
I saw the Discord and I was like, oh, it's what you guys do.
Yeah. Jordan said he wanted to play today, so I was like, yeah, sure, go for it. Let's do it.
Cool. Alright. I'll leave you guys to it.
No. You didn't bother anything. Feel free to stay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say hi.
Yeah, no.
So, you would contact Reed Richards about getting control of a reality stone, and he said he'd like to talk to you in 6 or 7 days at the Baxter Building. You make your way to the Baxter Building. There's a train wreck in Northern Ireland that you resolve along the way, and after that you jet across the across the Atlantic. For a moment, you stay close to the ground as you've kind of that's the best way to avoid radar detection or other detection, and using one of the Gaelic Guardian's like secret escape tunnels, you manage to get out of Dublin without being spotted. So. Yeah, you are jetting across the Atlantic, and yeah. What do you what is Autopsy's thoughts at this moment in time? Let's get into character a little bit.
Yeah, so getting into character, I think it's been like a really hard year. He had kind of a break for a couple years there that was really nice. He and Victoria were like settling in to be married. He and Futin had kind of like fixed up their relationship. His family kind of were processing through the death of his father, and then he goes on a family vacation, and everything kind of goes to hell in the new year of 2022. With finding out that Victoria was in the cage, Victoria he's married to is most likely a clone of some sort who has a hobgoblin personality. Felicia being captured, almost dying, hobgoblin coming back. So it's been hard, and now I think that Ralph. I think I've tried to portray him as someone like the relationships in his life are really important to him. They're kind of what ground him as a person and as a hero. And so being isolated from those, I think has been really hard for him. It's kind of wearing on him. And I think he's already been thinking about kind of like hanging up the cowl. Maybe when he turns 40, in his early 40s. Like trying to think about, hey, what does that look like in the next transition out in the next 5 years or so? And I think he's really feeling that now, and feeling just like kind of discouraged. Like, hey, I've given a whole lot to this country, this city, this world, and now they want to just brand me a criminal because that's just what they do. I think he's on all of these things.
He broods about how they caught him doing something illegal.
Yeah.
And is bitter about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's more like that thing, like he's mad that they're not going to assume the best of him, even though he's done something wrong. He's like, what? And then I think he's also mad because like he kind of knows. He's like, yeah. Like I think cutting a deal with Hobgoblin is like bothering him this whole time, low key. He doesn't see any other way. Right now to do it. Because he has all the chips, and he knows that it's Ralph's fault. That here I'll put on my notes. Knows that it's Ralph's. Or Ralph knows that it's his fault that all those people died, and now so does Hobgoblin. Right? Like, Roger Kingsley knows that Ralph's biggest failure is
not going to a Christmas party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't know how. Like, I still don't buy that Purple Moth actually know that, but
you don't. Why don't you? Why would you not think of that? I mean, he was in Futin's underwater city when it happened. He was one of the scientists.
Yeah, but did Futin say, "Hey"?
And we established him as one of the. I'm pretty sure we established him as one of the guys who was like powering up and managing the laser beam.
But did it come out in like a memo? Like, Ralph Fontaine refused to go to my Christmas party, destroy the city of.
As you say that, does that not sound like something Futin would have done?
Yeah, totally. You're right. And I think it was even probably like after and an addendum to some other just stupid
Yeah.
edict that he said.
Christmas party is canceled for everyone. Take your free eggnog and go. Also, fire up the laser and shoot Hartford. Ralph refused to come to my Christmas party. Has nothing to do with the first note.
Space, but it really does. I hate it.
Yes, we are not friends anymore. You canceled the birthday card.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so yeah, Purple Moth. Purple Moth is like, hey, you want some extra juicy dirt?
Yeah, because and we'd also kind of established that the super weapons were really badly organized in a lot of ways because like they were probably like the scientists were down there like cranking something to like turn the laser.
Yeah, like seawater was like flowing over a wheel.
Yeah. And he's like not really necessary, but nobody could figure out how it worked.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so yeah, those are his thoughts as he's breeding. I think he's like trying to find like something positive because that's a part of him too. Is he doesn't want to be a brooding, resentful person, but he's having a hard time with that right now.
Okay, and we had kind of previously talked and you're probably thinking about this on the way over, and Ralph has thought about the ways he could fix this, and reality manipulation seems to have been his go-to.
Right.
And
because it just doesn't look good with the magic. It seems like there's two. I guess all of these are risky, but magic. Aaron didn't know that if he could even do it, and
he refused.
There's a strong likelihood that that's not permanent, right?
No, I believe he refused to do it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he refused to do it. Yeah.
He wasn't sure if he could do it, and if he could do it, he didn't think it was a good idea.
Yeah, which is fair.
And then other options were you'd thought about was going back in time with Daybreak, which would have just jettisoned you off into an alternate dimension, I believe.
Yeah, which he's not willing to do for the same reason that. Well, I guess he didn't make that call with Doom, but I think it would be the same rationale that like the other characters have an issue with that. It's like, yeah, I'm leaving the people that I really know and care about to go off into a world in which I even think that Ralph probably he's aware of alternate continuities and stuff just for being a hero, but he tries not to think about it too much.
Yeah, it's a confusing concept. So he probably knows, like Daybreak could explain that. Like I could send you back in time, but you wouldn't be in this timeline anymore. So this timeline would continue forward, and you would make a split in that old timeline, right? So Ralph seems like he would probably say no to that one, just because he's not really fixing the problem. The people he knows here are still going to be in the same situation.
Right.
He's just running away from the problem.
Yeah.
So then there was the Reality Stone was one option. Because as we've established, he doesn't really know about the Infinity Gauntlet. Because the combination of them all putting together has really only happened once in our setting because it's not ridiculous. And it was the Infinity Gauntlet scenario, which got negated at the end by Adam Warlock. So.
And was that like kind of wiped from everybody's minds?
Yeah, the whole thing was basically reset, right? So that it never happened. And only the Adam Warlock would really remember it, and maybe a few others like Thanos, probably. So.
Right.
The entities that are difficult to wipe out. And then there was the Cosmic Cube option, which Ralph knows of.
Does he know of Cosmic Cubes though?
Yeah, because
run up outside of the Doom World thing.
the Doom World thing. Yeah.
But he wasn't a part of that. He got killed in the nuclear holocaust.
Yeah. Well, that's not the first instance of a Cosmic Cube, so he has close.
I just couldn't remember when else they had come up in our universe.
They haven't come up for us, but they have come up in the Avengers database, and if you're a reserve Avenger, I think you could have looked it up. But additionally, I think that would be an option that you would have considered, but the building a Cosmic Cube is beyond yours or anyone you know's capability. So.
Right. And there isn't any that currently exist, right?
Not that you know of. There may be one out there. So, the Cosmic Cube is kind of the energy of the Beyonders trapped in a matrix of force fields. Or there was also an instance where the Red Skull created one by sapping the mental power of a vast number of people he enslaved. So those are two instances, and the Skrulls made one that everybody knows of.
Rolls made one.
Yeah.
And same thing, did they like drain a world of...
You don't know.
Yeah.
And then there was the Doctor Doom one that he made from magical energies, based on that artifact, with the assistance of that artifact and the knowledge that he gained from Lanthanoid.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how that guy's doing.
He's sitting in the center of the earth, drinking out of his cooler. So, at that, you arrive at... additionally to all that, you could try to mind wipe everybody on Earth.
Yeah. That just seems really complicated and
Yeah.
has a lot of room for failure.
Yes, that would be a very difficult mind wipe.
Because Ralph is such a well-known figure.
Yeah, there is a high chance that he's so well known and so ingrained in everybody's thoughts, it would be almost impossible at this point. If that's the route you want to go, you're going to have to probably somehow boost Professor Xavier's powers. His unearthly telepathy.
Does Ralph really have much of a connection? I mean, I'm sure he knows of Professor X.
You've talked to him a couple times. You know, you had
That's true.
you
Yeah,
had
he talked with him when they were on the road trip.
yeah, and then additionally to all of those, I don't know if Ralph would have thought of it, but this could be an option that you could think of. You could try to make a deal with a cosmic entity. You know,
Like which one?
be a new Herald of Galactus.
Does Galactus have reality alteration powers and stuff?
Sure.
Does he though? I thought he just destroyed things.
No, he has power cosmic at like class 2000 or 3000.
Okay.
Which power cosmic?
I guess I just thought that power. I mean, I guess power cosmic is kind of like the catch-all power, right?
Yeah, it can do anything. Like Silver Surfer has a power stunt where he like makes a planet, like gives life to a barren planet, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
he's
it's basically like the god power.
he's like a god power.
Would Ralph know about Galactus or being? I mean, I guess he does.
Yeah, everybody knows about Galactus. That's a superhero. I don't think most normal people know about him because a lot of that stuff's kind of been put under wraps again. But
He would know.
he would definitely know.
Nowadays.
And Boltine was a herald of Galactus momentarily.
Yeah, enslaving himself to yet another giant evil power bent on controlling the world or destroying the world.
Galactus is not good or evil. He's beyond such mortal concepts.
I guess something that he would consider.
I mean, that's so. I'm not just joking, but it's kind of true in a way, right? Because he was created when the universe was created, right? So he is an innate and immutable aspect
Kinda like
of this reality.
The personification of just like entropy and destruction, right?
Yeah.
No, but like I mean, Ralph would consider. I mean, he's talked with the Silver Surfer. They palled around a little bit. Like he knows that's a bad gig.
Yeah.
I think there's something that he would actually have thought about and like considered, and maybe he'll talk over with Reed too. Is something to do with Kang? Like Kang's not approach Kang, but if there's any like Kang technology, because he knows that Kang has time travel abilities that are more powerful than something like what Daybreak can do.
Yeah.
Kang can go between realities.
So you could just jump back into time, and he could just alter a little bit here and there with his machines or whatever, and your identity never gets outed, and everything else continues as it has been, sort of scenario.
Yeah, that actually might be the cleanest, simplest way to do it. I think he would consider that, but that's another one that he would run by Reed.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like Reed is probably the foremost authority on Kang and his technology in the world, right?
In the comic books, it seems like Hank Pym is the best modern time travel technology guru. But I mean, Reed has invented a time travel machine, so.
Is he in our world?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's the time platform, or whatever it is.
Okay, well maybe this whole thing got a whole lot simpler.
It's the same. It works on the same concepts as Daybreak's powers, though.
Oh, so you go through alternate realities, not through time travel.
Yeah.
Would Ralph know that?
Yeah, there it is. Oh, that's Doctor Doom's time platform.
Would Ralph know that Kang's time travel is different than that? That it's true time travel?
I don't think Ralph really understands, but I think he does. It does seem to be that you've heard a lot of stories about Kang wiping out all alternate reality versions of himself. So.
Right. Which I just want to say, I don't know if you watched Quantumania.
Nope.
You should watch it if it's on. If you get a DVD or what, you should watch it for Kang, because Jonathan Waters does an amazing job as Kang. He's easily the best Marvel villain that there's been.
Yeah, I heard he gets beaten up by some ants. So spoiler alert. But
I mean, the movie is bad, Jake. It's a bad movie. He's amazing, and they have an awesome in-credit scene where it's the whole like council of Kangs, and they totally have him as like Ramata, and they also have him as a voice. Like they're all on this council with each other. It's pretty awesome.
yeah, I really wanted to
It's a bad
see.
movie, though.
I wanted to see that movie because Kang was in it, but after hearing how bad it was, I did not go.
I mean, and I will say this: it's nowhere near as bad as like Doctor Strange. I would put it on par with the second Spider-Man.
The new Doctor Strange?
Yeah. No, I mean like the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, the newer
It's
one.
not like that. Yeah, it's not like that.
That one was quite bad
But
too. I like the
think
magic
it's-
fight at the end with the music. That was my favorite part.
I would put it like on the same level with the second Spider-Man.
The second Spider-Man.
Oh, like in the new Marvel.
Oh, okay.
So, like Far From Home or whatever.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I mean, I'd say this is like that. Everything, the humor, every single joke is like horrible. It's impressive. It's like nothing is funny.
That's not a good.
But it's because it's not really a funny movie, though. I mean, like it is. They try to make it a funny movie. It would have been so much better if they hadn't.
They make jokes all the time though in the Marvel movies now, so I don't see how that's a good recommendation.
Yeah, it's then on that level, that's easily the weakest part of it. It's so bad on that. But then, I mean, I really mean it. Like Jonathan Waters does such a good job as Kang. He makes up for a lot of stuff. It's weird, but he really does.
I wonder if he's going to go to jail. So, we'll see about that one.
Is there like a bunch of allegations against him now?
Yeah, there's that stuff about him like sexually assaulting people and stuff.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, I guess we'll see, right?
Guess we'll see. So I think that's another one that Ralph would try and he would like think about, because he knows that Kang is like super powerful.
Yeah, time travel
There's
stuff.
Kang tech still on Earth. So I think he's gonna check with Reed about that too.
Okay. So as you arrive at the Baxter Building, you arrive on top of this giant building with a 4 on top of it, facing out in all directions. Have you seen a depiction of the Baxter Building?
But
Okay. So as you land on it,
has it changed in the modern comics? Does it look different than the original?
let me send you a picture of it. Oh, it's in space in that picture.
There's an awesome like cutaway of it, like an old comic. That looks really awesome.
Yeah, but here, we'll just go with this one. Alright, so here it is, kind of top-down view. Which is where I wanted to show you, because the landing platform on the top, which also opens up as like a missile silo bay, is a giant 4. So, as you fly in, you land on top of that bay, and like a light comes up from the ground, and it scans over top of you twice, and as it does so, there is a little robot that shoots out. I don't know if have you seen a Herbie before?
No.
Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's like the little butler bot, right?
Yeah, so a little Herbie flies out, and it comes up and says, "Hello, Mr. Autopsy. Welcome to the Baxter Building. Please follow me." And it flies over, and then as it does, flies across the side of the 4. At the far side, the thing opens up, and it pushes up like a staircase opening, like those rooftop access things. And as that opens up, the door swings open, and you hear a kind of another robotic announcement say, "Welcome, Autopsy, to the Baxter Building." And the Herbie says, "Please follow me, sir."
Yeah, we'll go dropping down the stairs.
All right, you guys go into what you think is a stairwell, but it turns out to drop, and it is a elevator, and that elevator takes you down quickly, and then it dumps you out into an area that looks like a living room. You see a huge rocky man, orange rocks, and like a one finger too few, sitting on a kind of crushed sofa, with his oversized remote in one hand and a beer in the other. As he looks back at you and says, "Hey Ralph, you are here to watch the game?" As he chuckles to himself a little bit, and then he stops for a second and like watches some superhero wrestling, and then flips over to football.
He competes, right?
No,
I thought he did.
he did in one storyline, but that would be unfair.
That's true. Yeah.
Ben Grimm's on a kind of a different level than everybody else. I mean, we did find out that in a 1 versus 1 you would win probably 100% of the time.
Yeah. Who do you pull for, Ben? I've always been a Broncos guy myself.
It's early in the year, so it looks like he's watching an old rerun of like the Packers playing the Bears, and he's like, "I don't much like any of these schmoes. They all look like sissies to me." And he kind of slams down there, and he's like, Not like the old Steelers.
The steel curtain. Ah, there was a team.
He's I mean, he doesn't look like he's aged any, but he should be in his 50s, I think.
Yeah, because is he older than Reed?
They're the same age.
Okay. Well, wait, so how old were they when they got? Was Reed in his 40s, like late 30s, early 40s, when he got shot into space and got powers?
Reed was in his late 20s.
Because it would have been, because that was 2007 in our timeline that they went to space and started off the whole superhero thing.
2005.
Oh, it was 2005. Okay, so it's been 17 years.
Yeah. So he's so either that's wrong. He's not in his 50s. He's in his late 40s.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fantastic. Let's see what the age is on here.
The list ages.
1972. So that would put him at 28 and 22, 50. Reed is 50.
Okay.
Ben is
So where are you
Ben
getting
is
their birth dates from?
that's the Obsidian portal.
Okay.
So he would have been 33 when they went to space.
That seems right. Yeah. Okay.
So Ben's probably like 49. So
Yeah.
48.
Okay. That tracks with the graying hair for Reed. Okay. Ben, you seen Reed around?
Stretch is in his lab. You don't want to go down there. Nothing good ever comes from coming in there. You're gonna have to hold stuff for him.
He used to use a shelf sometimes, Ben.
And he
It's all right.
takes a big drink.
Putin's done the same with me. Helps when you can lift 1,000,000 pounds, doesn't it?
He says, that doesn't mean I like to be used as a crane.
Yeah.
Sue's in the kitchen getting the kids something to eat. Be better off stopping in there. There's snack time, I hear. And he says,
All right.
Frank, Valerie, you guys want to watch the game? As he shouts. And
No, Uncle Frank.
there's a no, Uncle Ben.
Oh, Frank. I don't know why I call him Frank. Ben. Yeah, he'll meander over into there and say hi, kids. No wave to him.
Yeah, they look at you and they're like, hey. And Valerie says, oh, hello, Mr. Autopsy.
How old are the kids?
Don't have their ages on here.
Isn't Franklin's the
Franklin
one, right?
Franklin would be like 12. 11 I'd say. And Valerie's probably
so he's
like
a lot older than I thought.
Valerie's like 6.
What was the one that was it Valerie that Dr. Doom like helped deliver?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't he her godfather?
Yes.
That's weird and screwed up.
She was gonna die, and Sue was gonna die, and he magic technology saved him.
Yeah.
And then Lynn was like, "Remember, Richards, I have succeeded where you would have failed." Yeah.
It's like, hi, Valerie. What you eating here today?
She looks you up and down and kind of goes, she holds up a sandwich of some sort. It looks like peanut butter with maybe bananas on it. And she says, crushed legumes of the peanut variety, and some musa acuminata sliced. As she says it with a straight face and just smiles at you.
Yeah. He'll like grin at her and he looks at Sue and kind of raises an eyebrow.
Peanut butter and bananas, says Franklin. I've got jelly. Look, it's raspberry as he opens it up.
Thanks for the translation, buddy. Hey, I got something here to show you kids. And I'm gonna have him, like, shadow constructs, he's gonna say, like, what's your favorite animal? He'll say that to both of them.
Valerie says, "I'm 6 years old now, Mr. Contain. I think I'm too old for kid games." As she takes a bite of her peanut butter and banana sandwich. And Franklin says, "Dinosaurs, T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex."
He just nods again to him, gives him a big grin, and says, "All right, so." And he's gonna look for like a light source, whatever, and he's gonna do like a shadow, like a goofy thing with his hands, like on the wall, like do like a T-Rex, whatever. And then he's totally gonna make it look like a real T-Rex, and then he's gonna bring it to life, like a little miniature one. He's gonna have it like pop out from the wall.
Nice.
Using his shadow construct powers, and it's gonna be like stomping around like the kitchen, but. And then he'll put like a leash. He'll like pull a leash off of it, like go, and he'll hand it to Franklin. He's like, all right, son.
He says, "Oh, that's pretty cool. Check this out." As he runs off into the other room, and Sue's been just kind of watching. Valerie looks at it, and as he hands the leash to Valerie, and just looks at the leash, looks back at you, and then hooks the leash to the back of her chair and continues to eat her sandwich.
That's fine. I'll have the dinosaur go and like lay down next to the thing with the dog.
Yeah.
like a shadow dinosaur. Yeah.
So while Franklin is gone to get something to show you, and as he's running away, he says, "Why are you being so lame, Valerie?" Sue says, "Thanks for the attempts, Ralph. It's a little difficult to entertain them these days. They just got back from, the far reaches of the Canis Major systems. So, I guess you'll see in a minute."
Usually, it's maybe a little overstimulated, huh?
Yes, it's. She says, "Well, Mother, can I have some milk with this? I feel parched." And she says, "Yes, in 1 second."
Mouse feels his mood like a little bit by all this.
So as she's pouring the milk, Franklin runs back into the room, and he's carrying like a box that is like a glass container, and he puts it up on there, and he says, "Look at this," and he says, "Paul, come here," and then you look over to it, and there's some sort of like 6-legged reptilian creature that is like the size of an iguana, like a large iguana, and sitting inside the container. And it looks up spins its head 180 degrees around and looks right at you.
Oh, like an owl.
And its giant tongue sticks out, and then goes. It spins its head back around, stands up on two legs, and then just pulls itself up, and comes over and walks over onto his head and says, "Good job, Paul." And then says, "Where is it?" And he reaches into one of his pockets, and he pulls out some weird crystal, and he drops it in the thing's mouth, and it.
Yeah, Ralph's gonna. Where'd you find it?
Well, we found it on. Well, what planet number was it? And he looks at his mom, and before she can answer, Valerie says, "It was planet number 476, Franklin." And he says, "Yeah, that one. There was all these kind of crazy looking fern things, and this is a baby one. Apparently, Dad says he could keep it small, but they got like as big as our spaceship."
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Do they eat people?
I mean, they ate Uncle Ben, but he got out.
Right. Glad to hear it. Wow. So how are you gonna keep it small?
Actually, this one's full size now, and we just shrink rate it. And Valerie says, I shrink rate it. It was my shrink ray.
Yeah, Ralph's like cracking up. Cracking up.
As like she's got peanut butter and a piece of banana stuck to her cheek. As an uncoordinated 6-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. Sue, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Ralph. Thanks for asking. Been pretty busy with things going on here, the kids and everything, and this and that. Wish my husband would get out of the lab some more often, and come up and spend some more time with his family. But, well, we've got it. It's not like it was when we were younger. And she smiles. Other than that, I've been doing some work with some producers. We're running the charity, and she just starts to go on and on and on about all of these amazing things that she's doing. Like she just got back from a trip to sub-Saharan Africa near the Niger, where she was educating youth. And donated enough money to build wells and plant trees. The Fantastic Four Foundation have been doing that green wall fit plan that they've been a big shortage of money they talk about, but trying to stop the desertification below the Sahara Desert. And, And she's like, "Oh, we've got a documentary that I'm supposed to voice over later this afternoon," and blah blah blah.
I think there's a part of Ralph that is just super happy hearing about normal life and people getting to spend time with their family. But I think it's kind of I think he feels kind of sad that he doesn't get to do normal stuff lately, but he's also happy because he's going to spend time with them. So he nods, he asks some questions, he compliments them on the movie. He's like, "Yeah, Futon's a big fan of your films. We love going and watching them."
Yeah, she's gotten into producing. She was an actress for a long time, but now she's producing
Oh, is that
stuff.
what she was before she went into space?
No, she was a college student.
Okay. But she was an actress at some point?
Yes, after she got married to Reed, actually.
Okay.
So, so she says, well, I assume you're not here to chat. Are you looking for Reed?
Yeah. Yeah, we were gonna discuss, we're just gonna pick his brain. That's some situation.
Yes, figured. He's down in the lab. When you get in there, just shout a little bit. The only other person that could find their way through there is Valerie, and she's indisposed. As you look over, and she's like only a third of the way through the peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah.
She looks at you and just shrugs, like, "I'm sorry, this is too good to pass up."
Yeah. Must be a good sandwich. All right. See you later, guys. You'll go and you say, "Oh, Valerie, last chance. You can have your own shadow, whatever."
No, that's okay. Thank you, Mr. Contain. I made a shadow projection generator, and I could do some of my own.
All right. We'll have to have a competition or something.
If you'd like,
Hey, guys.
I could give it to you. and she's not. It's just one of those little kid no social cues sort of
Yeah.
scenarios,
Yeah.
right? They just and she's genuinely just offering you her toy that she put together.
Yeah, that like connects to the shadow dimension.
No, that was too dangerous. Dad said I wasn't allowed to connect to the shadow dimension.
Rough place. Dad knows best in this one. All right, see you guys. Wait. Go down.
There's
Wasn't
they
that
both
like a guy called
they both
Lord
wave
King?
to you like, and they're kind of both smiling, like they're both for some reason both happy to see you. And Sue's just kind of looking at Valerie as she leans over and starts to say something.
Yeah.
And she you as the last thing you see is you like riding the elevator down to Valerie. You look up at her like super confused, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's just happy about that. And then his mind shifts over to thinking about this conversation with Reed. It's just like this works. Go back to my own family. That's a big if.
Okay, so you make your way down there, and as you do, you are in a space that's far too large to be in this building. As far as the eye can see, are just fantastic equipment that you can't even begin to comprehend.
Right. So Putin would have an absolute field day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, the endless maze of technology is arrayed before you.
Yeah, he's just gonna kind of look at it and be like, and then he's like, how am I gonna find Reed? And then he's gonna kind of close his eyes and he's gonna sense out through the shadows and see if he can figure out where he's at.
Your range isn't big enough.
With an amazing?
Yeah.
How big is this place?
You don't know.
Isn't like an amazing? Isn't that like?
Yeah, your range is
miles?
your range is in miles.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, I guess he'll just kind of hover up in the air. Be
The
like,
ceiling's
"Reed."
not that high. Oddly enough, it's probably 20 feet tall.
Okay. It's just like a giant low warehouse.
Yeah, I mean that's a normal sized warehouse, right? But it's giant. Yeah. And some of the stuff is like butted up against the ceiling. So it feels jammed packed.
Well, I can't search using. Wow, this place must be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like an amazing rank is like a 10-mile radius.
I think it might be.
5-mile radius.
I think it's more than that. So, but
Yeah. Okay.
you can't see the wall edges. I'll say that it's very, very, very big.
Okay. Is there a Herbie with me?
No.
He's gonna look along the wall and look for some like a page button.
The Herbies didn't seem to sort of disappear at some point when you started to walk around in the inside of the living space.
Okay. Yeah, is there any like button or anything like a doorbell?
Nope. If you remember what Susan
Dan
said, she said
Dan
just
said that he was.
just give him a shout.
All right, but, hey, Reed,
There's,
Ralph.
there's a long pause and nothing.
Well, and I guess he'll just kind of like hop up in the air and just kind of start soaring around, calling out for him.
Okay. After about a minute of doing that, there's suddenly like a little like like a little hand that comes up way off in the distance and it waves at you. And then and then you see a giant megaphone like come up out of it. It says, "Call Herbie. He'll lead you over here."
All right, Herbie.
And then out of the ceiling drops a Herbie to float in front of you. It says, "Hello, Mr. Autopsy. What can we do for you today?" As you notice, there's 2 more behind you.
If you could guide me over to Reed, that'd be just fine.
Yes, sir. Our goal is quick service. And they zip off.
Yeah, I think as he's going, he's just kind of looking at everything and wow.
Yeah. So, the place is gigantic. It's just far too big. And it looks like there's just like, at one point you pass by what looks to be maybe 15 models of different spaceships.
Does Reed have hyperinvention?
Yes. At Monstrous.
Okay. Because I was like, how does he have the time? That makes sense though.
Robots, the Thing, Human
Yeah.
Torch. He invents robots to help him build his inventions. He doesn't build much, honestly. He just invents it. Draws the plan up in his brain.
Yeah,
And then, like,
Yeah,
puts a little helmet on his head and it projects it onto some computers. Then they build it for him.
yeah. He came up with 3D printers long before.
Yeah. Well, they're not even. A lot of it's not even 3D printers. You see a lot of fabricating robots, like humanoid-esque robots, Herbies. A lot of Herbies. There's a whole city of Herbies down here, maybe 1,000
Wow.
that you've passed,
Okay.
and they've all got like welding utensils on their arms and like, bzz, 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 and they're all of them are constantly working on stuff. And then a management Herbie comes by and he's like, "Hello, Herbies. You're 25 minutes behind time. We've got 16 more inventions to build before the end of the day."
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's pretty rad. Yeah.
So, you were
And as
led.
he's driving, he also thinks about Garrett. He's like, oh man, you gotta be there.
You zip across. It doesn't take you too long. I mean, they move pretty fast, but you zigzag back and forth through all of this equipment, and they're like, and the Herbies stop at one point, and then they like link arms, and they're like, "Do not approach, do not approach." As their lights flash red off their chest that you didn't know they had lights there, as they block off and keep you like 10 feet away from an item. Highly radioactive.
Alright. This kind of does look like a nuclear reactor just like sitting down there.
It's some sort of item that's glowing in a glass cage, and it says, "Don't worry, the radiation half-life will dissolves at a rate of 1 milligram per second at your range of 14 feet. You are safe. Low levels of radiation comparable to an X-ray. Don't make multiple passes, please." And then it starts to repeat.
Yeah. So keep going. You'll get to Reed. Like, what place you got here, Reed?
Yeah, I see they took your basics, the radioactive isotope section. Sorry about that. Come here. As he comes over and he takes a screwdriver and he starts to unscrew one. And he's like, routing chip seems to have gotten messed up. And he's like, "Herbie, number 64, bring me a routing chip." And he comes over and he starts to take it out. "So what can I do for you, Ralph?"
Yeah, I think he just kind explains.
Yeah, as you were explaining, he's like twisting out the chip. He pulls it out, sticks a new one in, then he grows his legs really long, and he says, "Come on with me, keep talking." And he walks across the lab with like, "Boo, boo."
Yeah, so freaking awesome. Love it. Yeah, and he doesn't. Ralph doesn't like belabor the point. He just kind of explains. Without saying, "Hey, I've got to deal with the hobgoblin," whatever, he's just going to kind of give him the cliff notes and then end it by saying, Fareed, I could keep going down the path that I am, and I'm afraid it's going to end up with all the people that I love killed or isolated for me. And I'm at a point in my life that I'm not willing to do that. I've lost a lot, and I fully expect to lose more, but I'm not willing to lose everything.
He
So I'm
says,
looking to find a way to.
"Well, I definitely understand that. I would do anything I could to see my family safe and be reunited with them. Let me just finish the work on this portable portal generator. Needed some toning up. Okay, there we go. So, what do you do?" And he outlines the same sort of items that we talked about before. If you're going about this way, and he says, "Well, have you thought about just? It might be a lot easier to fake your death, Mr. Contain, and form a new identity. Have you considered it?"
Yeah, I mean, well, I've done it, right? or at least
He doesn't
I've done
know.
another persona. The Tartarus? I don't know if you ever heard about that. It was.
No, I don't. It sounds like a phase.
Yeah, it's a little cringy. The
Well, no, I don't mean that sort of personality. I mean the Ralph Contain. Superheroes come and they go. We've already seen people take up the mantle of the second generation with similar abilities as the first. I mean, there you have a second Spider-Man in Ireland right now, so it wouldn't be that unusual. All you need to do is see Ralph Contain pass. It would be a lot simpler than the Reality Stone. The last time I picked it up, it was in the last time I heard about it was that a member of the Infinity Watch had it, and it being one of the most dangerous stones, it was hidden. So the Infinity Watch has all of the stones except for the Reality Stone. And I'm not sure where that is, but it's certainly somewhere out in space.
And this Infinity Watch, I'm sure, is also looking for it.
Honestly, I think Adam Warlock is a enigma to all of us. So whatever method that he devised, I'm not 100% certain of its efficacy, or whether he did in fact just happen to lose it. Seems unlikely. He's not that sort of person.
I agree with you, Reed.
I suppose you haven't met Adam Warlock, though. So.
No, not that I'm aware of. But then.
And then we have a cutout. And then we have a little cutout to the bottom, yeah.
Ivan Jordan says, or has he?
See, Infinity Gauntlet is the series.
Yeah. There's probably some like Ralph shaking his hand and being like, "Thanks a lot, Adam. You helped save the day. Whatever." And then doesn't remember any of it.
Yeah. Tygo's like, "Why is my scythe feel like it should have purple blood on it?"
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't believe I have. What is he? Who is he?
Well, you see, I don't believe you would know of the High Evolutionary either, would you?
So, Reed, just to make it easy for you, I've been out of Earth's atmosphere once.
Okay,
And
well, the
I
High
was teaching a guy
Evolutionary
called
is the High Evolutionary is a human from the mountains, a mountain of Wundagore in Eastern Europe. So your neck of the woods, more or less, considering your time with the EDI. However, the High Evolutionary was a brilliant inventor who has given up any semblance of his human name of Herbert Wyndham, and believes he has transitioned himself into a more improved version of himself. Gifted with inhuman intelligence, he then started to work in his citadel of science, transforming creatures and gifting them with untold brilliance. Initially starting with his new humans, new men, as some of them are called, creating animal versions in the form of people with human-like intelligence. From there, he developed the work on developed the initial work that. Oh wait, maybe I'm wrong here. Am I remembering the history wrong? Anyways, he developed the initial technology, which was adopted by a organization calling themselves Enclave, a group of scientists. We had a initial encounter with them, but their perfect human that they created escaped and helped destroy the Enclave, which was a bit tragic. Then left into space where he met the man behind the technology of his creation, a High Evolutionary, and joined him in helping save the High Evolutionary's artificially created planet known as Counter Earth, which is orbiting on the opposite side of the sun as our planet.
There's an artificial Earth that this super scientist who thinks he's God made.
Yes. Populated by
animal men.
Not just animal men, but people too.
People that he's cloned, or
I'm not sure how they all got there, to be entirely honest. But the passage of time has been altered to greatly accelerate evolution. If you're interested in learning more about Counter Earth, I suggest you watch the TV series Spider-Man Unlimited from the late 90s.
Is that all about Counter Earth?
Yeah, so Spider-Man in that series, who's like the guy from the Fox cartoons from the 90s, gets stuck on a spaceship and flies to Counter Earth, and is like a rebellion against the High Evolutionary, kind of tries to escape back.
Huh. Okay. Well, I mean, no, to be honest, I'm not super interested in him, other than he might have the reality stone.
Anyways, so Adam Warlock from there engaged in a number of adventures, I believe. I'm not sure about what went on, but most of them have been outside of the Earth, and he left Counter-Earth after a time. At some point in his encounters, he formed a group that managed to gather all of the Infinity Stones. At that point, he split the Infinity Stones to prevent them becoming together. For why, I'm not entirely sure. But having all the Infinity Stones would definitely make you quite powerful. And then he did whatever he did with the Reality Stone. But the other ones are with his group known as the Infinity Watch.
And that reality stone, it lets you alter, change, or modify
Reality.
reality.
Yes. I would also point out there is one issue with the Infinity Stones. I'm not sure you're aware of them, but I have had the chance to study them, or at least one of them, and they possess a mind of their own. So they can be difficult to control if they do not wish for you to control them.
What are the wishes of these things? Do they have some kind of sentience or drive or will of their, like, they want to see realized in the world?
Well, gems pick and choose who will wield them and can prevent any they wish to from using them. But they do seem to have some sort of drive.
See, not just anyone can pick one up and
Yes, they can be quite
start
manipulative.
casting wishes.
Though the only one that I know of that is malignant is the Soul Gem.
Malignant, evil.
Of a sort, you could call it. I mean, but it is not conducive to our existence in this reality.
Okay. Well, I'd rather not mess with any of them if I didn't have to. I don't have to do this, but I'm willing to take the risk because he kind of like breathes heavily and he says, Reed, I think I'm at the point where I need something bigger than me to help me with my problems. Seems like when I try and fix them, just with my own abilities, it doesn't get any better.
Maybe you can think that way, but I would say that this is a difficult business to be in. So perhaps you're making a big difference. It's just there's a never-ending carousel of opposition.
I think you just summed up superheroics. Agreed?
Yes. Superheroes are much like public servants, in my evaluation. Just because we are not able to fix the source of the issue doesn't mean there isn't any value in responding to emergencies.
I agree.
Someone has to put out the fires, as they say, and then he turns and he shoots the portal generator through there, and it pops a hole through the thing. He says, "Yes, perfect. as he puts it down.
If I was to go looking for this thing, do you have any idea where I would begin? Would it be with this Infinity?
The best place to start would be with
Watch.
the Infinity Watch.
How does one contact?
You can't. They're a secretive group by their nature. They don't want anyone to be able to plot to steal the Infinity Gems from them. But they do engage in super heroics, I suppose, on a universal scale. So
Is there a chance you have means of contacting someone who would know where they might be?
no. Your best bet would, if you were trying to get in contact with them, might be the High Evolutionary. But I will warn you, people from Earth are not welcome on Counter Earth. Oops. A
Yeah.
little note in the corner: see Spider-Man Unlimited.
Yeah, yeah. Is there any way of gaining the attention of the High Evolutionary, or maybe bringing him a gift, or
No.
a bottle of wine?
He laughs.
But you think he's my best shot for?
Yeah, if that is the path you intend to go down, then that would be the best. Other than that, I hesitate to suggest it, but if you considered magic,
Yeah, that, believe it or not, Reed, it's even more complicated. It has an even greater chance of failure. For our good friend Aaron.
well, I don't
We can't
quite.
say if he's the new Sorcerer Supreme or not.
I will. I'll say that I don't truly understand how that process works, so I have no. I can't offer any advice on it.
And then did he give any opinion about the idea of Kang Tech? And the utilization of that?
He didn't even mention time travel really as an option.
Okay.
So, but if you bring it up, go for it. We can have that discussion.
Yeah, I think he'll say, well, Reed, I feel pretty committed to this course of action, even if it is dangerous. But something else did occur to me, something that you and I both have familiarity with, and that's Kang. Not that I want to deal with him particularly, but he bragged about himself being the Lord of Time. And would it be possible to utilize his technology to go back and forth?
Yes, that would definitely be a possibility, though I have to say there's only one device that was available, and I did use it.
See, Doom World,
Yeah,
Dr.
see
Doom.
the end of Doom World.
Yeah, we're dropping, we're bad. We're like 90s comics.
Yep. So, and then he says, outside of that, to be honest, it turns out most of the debris was collected. A lot of it has been processed, and most of it was non-vital equipment. I would say that when Kang made his escape, he seemed to have stopped time and collected what he needed to in the vicinity.
I'm sure he doesn't want us having access to the same power and technology.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. It may be the case, but we can get into Chronopolis. I just don't recommend it.
So between Kang and the High Evolutionary, who would you go with? Or just have an interact? Try and get on your side.
That really puts him to thinking. He has to think.
Yeah.
He has to think hard about this one.
Yeah. He's like, which crazed megalomaniacal dictator?
Do you storm another person's base, or do you storm Kang's city of time?
Ralph's like getting like a bad feeling in his gut.
He says, I can't recommend one or the other. I apologize.
Yeah.
They are, I don't make it a point to attempt to enter either one of those places. I know that may sound perhaps cowardly of me, but
You're not a coward.
sometimes we have to prioritize to protect what is here, as opposed to make things more difficult. He seems regretful about what he's saying.
All right. Thinks about it some more. So. Would you have a way to get me to counter Earth, Reed? I know it's a big ask.
Yes, I can lend you a spaceship. Or give you one. Though, I would just like to point out, Ralph, you're dealing with someone who is basically on the level of Galactus. You understand, right?
Wow, this is Jordan speaking. The high evolutionary is that powerful?
This is Jacob speaking. Take a look in the general chat.
Holy balls. He has class 1000 reason.
He told you that he accelerated time and evolution so that he could develop superhumans on Counter Earth.
Yeah, but like...
And he made the perfect... He gave the technology to make the perfect person.
I could still take him in a fight, except for the class 3000.
Yeah, I didn't give you his powers, so yes. Yeah, you definitely could take him in a fight. You couldn't hurt him.
No. Where does he get... But he was a regular human. Where does he get that? Like...
He evolved himself.
But no. Like, you're still dealing with the fact that you're a carbon-based life form. That's like...
He is in existence, yes.
He is... That stuff is... That's not like you're just a different... That's not just like you're like a superhuman. That's like the cosmic entity levels.
Yeah, he evolved himself.
Alright. I don't think that's quite how evolution works, but I guess we're dealing with comic book logic, so... Sure.
Yeah, well, Galactus is a giant human.
It's true, because isn't he from like the previous universe or whatever?
Yeah. So, he's a giant human. and form and function, really. With the power of cosmic. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah. So, you say that... Is there any way of getting his attention in a non-hostile way, in your experience? Like, could I stand outside Counter Earth and hang him somehow?
He doesn't allow visitors. Or guests. Or anyone. In vicinity of Counter Earth. If you're confident, he says the best course of action to get the information you would want would, if the high evolutionary felt he needed you for whatever reason, or if you could break into his citadel on Counter Earth and steal information from his computers.
I'm looking to reduce the amount of enemies I have in my life, not necessarily gain them. I'll definitely do a favor for him if he needed me to, but I get the feeling it'd probably be like donating my DNA so he could make a race of super shadows or something terrible.
No, he would not likely need that.
No, not if he's built his own planet. Okay. Oh, and I'm sorry. Last question I have for you: is it possible to track the energy signature of the Infinity Stones?
Yes, in a short range.
What are we talking about with short? We're talking for
Planet
you?
size, maybe even solar system.
Okay. Is that something that you could equip me with? And slot it into Eevee?
Yes. No. But yes and no. Yes, I could provide it to you. No. Is it capable of going upon your wristwatch?
And is Eevee to be like, hey now?
No, Evie is in fact a wristwatch. I mean, she is more than a wristwatch, but at this and thinks of herself as a person. So she's probably slightly offended right now. But this is, you know.
Is she like Wi-Fi, like connecting with all the devices here and being like,
No.
this is in lists?
No.
Tons of incredible technology here.
Unless she
She's
wants to
talking.
be fried.
No, I'm sure she doesn't.
It's just your device is too small. You see. Well, Herbie, go get the device that he speaks of. What is it? He walks over and he slides a wristband on his arm, and then it projects a holographic touch screen, and then he taps on it and accesses some computer database. Oh, he says X Z N hyphen 8992. And Herbie says, "Yes, sir. I will go get the device." And he zips off.
Okay. Thank you, Reed. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to meet with me.
No problem. I don't. If you're interested in Kang, I don't know what that will be like. He's also a difficult person to predict, but if the High Evolutionary is your primary threat on Counter Earth, then your primary threat in Chronopolis is the existence of Kang's billions of soldiers and superhumans and himself. Not to say that the High Evolutionary doesn't have his knights, which of course he does. It's just there's not is endless a number, though he is able to detect any approach and any person on the planet if he wishes.
Does he kill on sight, Reed?
He will likely attack on sight, on approach.
Is there any way? Does the High Evolutionary have any?
He has picked his
qualities?
location on the opposite side of the Earth, on the opposite side of the Sun, to stay unobserved and unapproachable by Earth. You see, so he is quite reclusive. Autopsy.
I see. No, does he cure it?
This is why he doesn't cause us any difficulties, and I don't go there. Is He's created that world for himself in his own experiments, and he cares for his creations.
So does he view himself as like a benevolent god of some sort?
Yes and no.
Okay. I'm just trying to
He
understand
thinks of himself as an inventor first, and these are all parts of his experiments.
Well, all right. Another question for you. So, if I was trying to get on your good side, Reed, as one of the most intelligent men on Earth, brilliant inventor, etc., etc., how would I go about getting your attention and then flattering you enough so you can work with me?
He looks at you and he's like, "Oh, there's no need for that. I'm willing to help you in whatever way I can."
Yes, I see. I was speaking more rhetorically. You as Reed Richards, being a stand-in for the High Evolutionary.
I don't think you understand, Autopsy. He made his own planet. I don't feel it. While there has been incidents where we have tested wits against each other, and I have even managed to come out victorious in some of them, Wyndham he has an intelligence of a different scale than mine.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, he's made his own planet. So, there's not a lot to give a man who has everything.
Yeah. Alright, I'll need to ponder on this. If I wanted to reach Chronopolis, could that also be accomplished with one of your ships?
No, but the bridge is possible. It's over there. And he points in a general direction to the right.
Okay.
You just have to kind of step through, and then you'd be there.
Did you just keep an open portal to Chronopolis?
No, it's a portal that can take you to any dimension that you import the coordinates for. He air quotes coordinates.
Impressive.
Yes, it is, and he starts to begin to detail you how the coordinate process works and how it's not actually, and you're like, okay.
I gave him like the sure, like as I'm like contemplating which choice I should take.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Reed. I think I'm going to sleep on it, and I'll have an answer for you in the morning. Again, thank you for the time. Also, your kids are great.
He smiles real big and pats you on the shoulder. Let's go out there and see what they're doing. It's almost time for dinner. Why don't you stay for dinner with us?
I'd be more than glad to.
Okay. So you guys walk out, and it's about 20 minutes before dinner. Sue's just started getting it ready. She cooks dinner apparently here too.
She's a philanthropist. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's a cook. She's an actress. She's just like one of those women who like does it all and makes it look easy.
Yeah.
Makes other superhero women feel inferior.
So she's like making dinner for them. There is a sudden alarm, and one of the Herbies flies in, and it says, "Sir, Dr. Richards, we have an emergency. We," and then its eyes turn red, and it says, "Hello, Dr. Richards. I am here to take what is rightfully mine, the technologies you stole from me." And he stands up, slams his hands on the table, and he says, "Ivan, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never stolen anything from you. All of my research has been my own. And he says, that's not true, Dr. Richards. I was the one that developed the rocket ship technology that took you into space, and you know it. Why do you think me and my apes have gotten the same abilities? You copied me clearly! And for that, you shall pay! And then at that, the Herbie starts to flash, and Ben leaps forward and crushes it in his thing, and it goes, and explodes, and he drops the pieces. And he says, that goofball's here with his monkeys again. Let's go take care of him. And Franklin's like, hey, let me come this time. I'll be Marvel Boy. And they're like, no.
Does Franklin have powers?
You don't know. But when,
this is Jordan. This is Jordan asking if he has powers.
oh, when he says that, you see him like levitate some stuff into the air and like form it into like a catapult. Which is like
yet
weird...
another Marvel character who has like telekinesis, hyper telekinesis?
Yeah, you don't know. In character, he has like he's like a super mutant, like like a class 1000 Omni power.
Oh, he's one of the Omega level mutants.
Like beyond, you know, because he makes in the Hero's Return story, which you don't remember, but you were a part of it. You guys all died fighting Onslaught. And instead of dying, he saved you all by whisking you away into an alternate dimension that he created himself. And like redid all of your origin stories and everything, and you lived inside this plastic rubber ball that he played with. Which was a whole solar system.
Was this a Critcon game?
No, this was a real comic book.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
So I mean, since we've got the old comic books as canon, you know, so that is canonical. And Autopsy would have been active at that point in time.
Alright. Yeah, so he's like, alright. He like gets up from the table with Ben. Ben, what'd you say this guy's name was again?
He calls himself the Red Ghost, but it's just Ivan Kraganoff or Kragoff or Jerkoff.
It's too like Ben.
Yeah.
I said that earlier.
Yeah. She's no, she Franklin laughs a little bit at it, and Valerie rolls her eyes, and Sue's like, come on, Ben. He says, yeah, whatever. I need to grow up sometime. As he looks away a little embarrassed.
Is Johnny here or is he gone?
Johnny is not here at this moment.
Okay.
And he says,
Alright, yeah, let's go take, you said Red Ghost?
yes, Red Ghost and his apes. They've been a thorn in our side for longer than I care to recount. He's a brilliant Soviet scientist who blames me, apparently, for stealing the glory of his rocketry advances. It's not my fault he wasn't fast. Sue says, okay, kids, why don't you go to bed? Herbie, take them to bed. And another Herbie flies in. And Valerie says, Mom. And Franklin says, but Marvel Boy sleeps when no villains around. As he, like, pulls, reaches over and, like, pulls a blanket out of a chest and wraps it around his neck.
Yeah.
And then Valerie is like sort of moping as she presses a button on the wall, and as you look outside, you see a giant 4 shoot up as like a hologram out of the top of the building. All right, Ben and Ben looks over at Reed. Reed's got some sort of tablet in his hand, and he's pressing some buttons on it. And he says, "Looks like the red ghost has infiltrated the missile silo. It seems like he intends to fire the missiles.
Oh, dude.
We need to get down there and stop him." And Sue says, "Well, can we do it without Johnny here?" And Reed looks over at you, and he says, "You're with us, right, Autopsy?"
I'll be your Johnny. He didn't say that, but he's like, yeah.
Okay. He says, "Yeah, I think we'll be more than good. And besides, the kids have alerted."
I'd love to help out.
The-
Most fantastic family.
The kids have alerted Johnny. He'll be here anytime. He had his date with what's her name tonight, and it says Reed, and Sue goes, "You can't even remember her name." And before that can continue, another taken over Herbie comes in and starts to fire laser blasts in. And Sue says, "I thought you just turned off the lasers on the Herbies here." Well, I on most of them I did. I needed the lasers to work on the machines. As she like raises her hands and waves them out, and an invisible force field protects you all. And she says, "Okay, kids, scratch going with the Herbie. You're coming with us."
Hey, Ralph wants to say, hey, Stu, you know, as they're like running out, if it's helpful, I might be able to do something for the kids, and he'll like shadow shape, and you and I kicked around this idea. He'll shadow shape like a suit of like shadow armor for him.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Because I was thinking that could be like a fun way to,
Yeah, I like that idea.
like a more like defensive use of the power.
Yeah, you can't use it on yourself, of course.
Right.
Now.
Well, and it wouldn't really help him.
Yeah.
Because body armor doesn't stack, right?
No, it does not. Not with body resistance. So, but the body armor rank of the shadow power would be incredible, I believe.
It's actually amazing.
I don't think it's the same level as your power, is it?
I don't know. I'm not sure how. Like when Johnny makes a fire shield, is it unearthly?
No.
No. Is it one rank lower?
It's would be at least one rank lower, but if you made a shield, like an immobile shield that was in one place, I would say it's amazing. But if you make something that you can wrap around your body,
it doesn't have the power rank if it's like more complex. It has to like.
Yeah, because it's got to be worse than the power rank because it's not the power, right? So if you're duplicating another power, then it's worse.
Yeah.
Like flight speed, like Johnny Storm's Human Torch's flight speed's like amazing, even though his firepower is unearthly.
Right. Okay. Well, all right. Then you want to say it's incredible?
Yeah, incredible, and then it would be one. Actually, in this case, since it's an energy armor, I'll say it's incredible versus energy, and one rank lower versus physical.
Okay.
So opposite of normal body armor.
Okay. Yeah. Ralph will like kind of like pull the shadow from like the kids, like their shadow like running next to them, and he'll like cast it. So I got a 73. That's a yellow. I think I need to spend 20 karma, and I can make it to a red.
You don't have this power stunt?
No, I'm still developing it.
Oh, how many checks do you have?
I have two. One. I made it once. And I need one more red to then bring it to yellow. But I think I spent karma on it because the first one I actually rolled. I rolled like a 97 or something.
Okay.
So
20 karma.
20 karma to get it to a red. Because I now crit on her. Reds are 91 for me.
Yep. So 20 karma.
Right.
Mark it off, and you're good to go. You wrap them up, and they're like, "Yeah, this is." Franklin, he says, "This is just kind of like Peter Pan sewing his shadow to his feet. And Valerie's like, this is pretty cool. And she tries to jump. Oh. And she goes, oh.
Sorry, you can't fly. But it'll make you. But you can also hit things harder.
You can't, but yeah, you tell him that.
No, I
She's like, Sue's like, there'll be no punching. No punching.
Oh, sorry, kids. And I'll like take the gauntlet away, the spike gauntlet away.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
you
they're
mean
gonna,
that
like,
because of the
they're gonna,
hardness.
also,
Yeah,
like,
it
make,
would.
like a sword appear on their back, like a shadow katana. Like, oh, and just kind of like fold that back into them.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. You could make shadow weaponry out of the gauntlets and up people's damage up one. So yeah.
Yeah. But Mom says no.
Oh, Mom. There's a unison. Oh, Mom. As you guys are now riding the elevator down into the missile silo, and at that, as you're riding it down, there's a bright flash of red. Sue puts up a force field around the kids, and then puts up a force field in front of you all, and then there it goes as it shoots a massive laser beam through it, and 4 Herbies come in, and they look at you all, and they start to start shooting lasers at the force field. Sue holds it up and just glares at Reed, and Ben cracks his knuckles, looks over at you, nods, and he says, "It's clobbering time!" And as he rushes forward, she opens up a portal, no, she doesn't open up a opening. Reed reaches down to his back and pulls out that portal gun generator that he had from before. And
Does it look like the portal gun off of like the game?
Yeah, it kind of does. Here's what it looks like. Oh, dang it. I got rid of it. Anyways, yeah. So it opens up a big portal so you can just kind of see through it. And as it does, it like opens it up behind them. And you and Ben step through it. And then you go, wah! And you both make 2 attacks.
Alright. And I'm gonna also. Alright. Which one? I think that might actually still be a green though.
22? I'm not sure about that one. You're spectacular? Yes, it is.
It's like just a green.
Yeah, it's a 21 or higher as a green. So the first one's a 91, which is a yellow for them. And a 35, which is a white.
And that's, I think that might be a red for me.
I thought you got a 73. Oh, that's your power stun.
That was my power stun. Yeah.
Okay, 86. That is a red. So you got a green, and then you got a red. So the first Hurry kind of dips to the side, turns to you, and lights up a blast of energy. The other Herbie is like still shooting that laser beam against Sue's force field, and then Invisible Woman's force field, and you just boom, throw a hook through it, and it just shatters as you pull your hand back, and the Herbie's stuck to your chest. You fling it backwards, and it flies backwards, hitting 2 more Herbies that were flying, and they go and explode like Hollywood movie cars. And you see Ben go like this, and he grabs 2 of them, or if the thing reaches out, he grabs 2 of the Herbies and goes boom and crashes them together, and then the sonic wave comes through and it just boom, 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 and you see like 5 explosions from behind it. And then that one Herbie that's still remaining right before it gets hit by the sonic wave fires at you.
Alright.
You roll to dodge. It gets a white, by the way.
Yeah, that's a green.
Alright, you duck out of the way, and then you raise up your shadow power, and it kind of wrapping it around into a U. You catch the laser beam and shoot it back towards the Herbie, hitting it, and it explodes. So at that, Reed says, "Excellent work, you two. and walks over to the side of the panel and then hooks a wire into it from like a device that he has pulled off of his belt. He seems to have some sort of like trans-dimensional pockets along this uniform. And he hooks this wire into it and boots back up the elevator, and you guys continue your way down. He says, looks like he's taken over most of the Herbie systems in here. I'll work to get them back under control. The video surveillance is showing something unusual. Let me show it to you all. As you hear, and like you see his fingers stretching across like a way too big keyboard, and with a bunch of, it's like got the regular alphabet, and then it's just got like tons of weird symbols that you don't understand. And then as he hits one of them, a video display appears, and roll intuition. Yep.
Alright. I'm not sure if that's a green. Incredible.
No.
Nope, it's a white. I'll spend.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So, I mean, you can spin karma if you want, but it's just not that big of a deal.
I'll just say, yeah, it's sciencey stuff that I'm not sure about.
Well, you don't know what it's about, right? That's the point of the intuition roll. So you're looking at it, and you see on the screen the red ghost appearing. Do you know what he looks like? Do you know who the red ghost is?
Yeah, I was saying he kind of looks like Uncle Iroh from like an evil Uncle Iroh from the Avatar movie. There's a show.
Yeah, it kind of does.
He's got like the mustache and everything.
I sent a picture in the general chat. So that's what he looks like.
Okay. Yeah.
He's got his big red coat on and his jacket and his wife beater. And he, however, you see that all of his like gorilla, his orangutan, his chimpanzee that are all, he's got a baboon, a gorilla, and a orangutan with him. And they are all wearing strange helmets with them. Okay?
What's with the helmets, Reed?
He says, that's what I'm saying, is unusual. Looking at it, it seems like there's some sort of, it looks like a mental capacitor on the side. These wires are over there. If only I could get a better look at it, I could tell what it is. Is it some sort of psychic protection device? The apes are quite intelligent. They're as intelligent as a regular person, I would say, at least. So there would probably not really any need for that. And as that happens, there's like a shaking of the whole place, and you look back, and Franklin's eyes are glowing, and he says, he like reaches up and he goes like this, and he crushes a Herbie as it flies in, and then he looks at you, and he goes like this and pushes his other hand out, and there's a telekinetic blast that hits you in the chest, and you fall out of the elevator.
He's controlling your kid, Reed!
And you're like, he's controlling your kid, Reed! And then you see the elevator go and crunch into a giant ball.
Wait, it crunches into a giant ball?
Yep.
It kills all of them?
It looks that way.
Presumably? No! like scream at the sky.
Yeah, as you're falling down the elevator shaft.
Yeah.
You're like, you're controlling your kid. Oh no! So, as that elevator ball, like at that point, as it crumbles, you see the ropes up in front of it snap instantly, and then it goes, poof, and it starts dropping, and then you move to jump for it when you suddenly see a like a giant gorilla you feel a giant paw grab your hand, and you look back, and there's a massive gorilla that goes boom and pulls you back into the side room, and then as you hit the ground, you kind of roll to the bottom, and there's that giant gorilla over there. There's a baboon that then transforms into metal, and then it's a metal baboon now, and then there is a there is a orangutan who has his hands out and it's levitating the little metal balls like Magneto does. And then the red ghost is nowhere to be seen, and then you see a mist appear around you. It swirls around, and then his head solidifies, and he looks down at you, and he says, I don't know who you are, comrade, but you have made a mistake coming to this Baxter building today.
Oh, I think you're the one that's made the mistake.
And as you say that, the balls shoot forward at you, and they go chunk, chunk, and they clamp around your wrist, and you go boom, flying backwards, and you get stuck to the side of that rocket.
Okay. So like they're magnetic, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I like try and like break through?
Make a strength roll.
All right. You know what? For some reason, I've been trying this. Like, hold on, let me check this. I want to try it. Let's see. 48. It's a green.
You feel the panels of the rocket start to bend, but the metal, whatever this is made out of, seems to be the same coloration as the elevator. It doesn't bend or break. But then the magnetic force grabs you and it sticks you back to it, and he smiles. He says, I have developed these devices to increase my ape's powers. Now they are beyond that of the Fantastic Four. Ha 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 ha.
Just to keep him distracted, I'll play into his megalomaniacalness. Be like, what's your goal? Why are you bothering the Fantastic Four? What have they ever done to you?
Okay, what's your secret plan to get an escape from this as you're doing
So,
it?
on these things, does it look like there's any kind of like locking mechanism or anything?
On what things?
Like the bracelets that he's got me? Or is it
No,
like
they're just a
solid base?
metal U that has been stuck to the thing. And you can hear a countdown going on, like 20, 19, 18, right? And it's right behind him. You're about to get fired away. But no, it's just clasped to the rocket side. And it seems as though the magnetic force is keeping you from peeling the panels off the rocket.
Okay, and what was in this rocket? Can you see?
It's just Reed would have explained it to you on the way down that these rockets don't carry any like ordnance. They're transportation rockets, but they could still be a massive amount of damage as they can approach light speed with enough go. So it could destroy most of the northern. If he fires one of these and it turns around and hits North America, most of North America could be gone.
Okay.
If it gets to full speed.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to. My plan is so here is a 2-step process. I want to get him distracted enough, and I'm gonna have his shadows behind him and the apes like rise up behind them, and I want the shadows to either like pull off the apes' helmets if possible, if they're not like bolted into their heads. And actually, I have an amazing strength with this, so I'm hoping it'll be strong enough to like pull those free, and then like cover his eyes, like do that
I think you could do
thing.
one of them, right? So.
Okay. Yeah, then I want to pull the helmets off the apes.
Right.
While that happens, I want to use my true flight, like prep myself with like my legs, and then like use my flight power to be like
A charge attack?
rip off. Yeah,
Nice.
and then like charge into it. Yeah.
Alright, so,
I'm gonna feed his ego a little bit while that's happening. Classic superhero. tactic.
exactly. There you go. Classic superhero tactic. So you're like, why are you doing this? Or what reason? He says, I don't know if you weren't told, but Reed Richards, that monster is nothing but a thief. He has stolen my brilliant ideas. Roll a personality check
All right.
to see how well you keep him talking, whether he gets
Yeah,
distracted.
and I'll spend a little bit of karma if I have to.
Okay. Oh, he didn't need it. You're good. Okay. He's like, Yes, he's stolen my brilliant ideas, and he used it to develop these rockets, these paltry imitations of the superior technology of the Soviet Union and my brilliance. And as he says that, you hear the monkeys going, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo."
Like in agreement.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, they're shaking their heads.
But how is that possible? Reed's a brilliant mind. All of his ideas are his own.
You fool, you've fallen into that trap. Let me enlighten you in your final moments. And as that happens, the shadows kind of grow up, and the monkeys are like, woo, 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 woo.
Yeah. And then,
He says, first, and when we were both when he was but a student and I was already a master, in 2004, he came to my research.
gives me the timeline.
Yes. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out like a little flip book brochure that he unfolds.
Yeah. Does he have like a pointer and he's like, no, in 2004, and he's like going down the timeline.
He does have a pointer. He might lose that when he goes missed, right? He sews that in. It's not even a flip book. It's a pocket. He unzips it and it folds out because it's part of his jumpsuit. He says, "I've sewn this in here so that I never forget."
I just imagine him like being on a subway or something and just like railing to some poor person. Like,
So make your guys reach forward and they grab hold of those, and they're superhuman strength. They pull them off the monkeys' heads, and they go whoop whoop whoop, and they like make monkey noises, and they reach up and they touch their heads, and they like some of them cover their mouth. Yeah.
And then I'll be like, welcome to the dark side of the moon. And you charge forward and just like slam into him.
Yeah, as you say that, he's like, how did you know I've been to the moon? Ah! And you shoot forward at him. And as you hear that, you hear boom! And then there's a piece of metal that shoots up and through the wall. And as it hits the ground, then you see up from behind you, Sue levitating the whole group up, and a thing steps down as you're rocketing forward, and then there's like a heated blast on the ceiling, and you hear Reed say, "No, not the integrity of the launch missile silo, Johnny!" And he's like, he melts himself through, and it just falls to slag as the Fantastic Four form up on the other side, and you rocket yourself forward. Make an attack roll.
Oh boy. Here, one more. That's a 2. Not good.
No, so, okay, you're gonna have to direct that second attack against someone else. So as you miss the second attack, he sees you coming, his eyes go wide, as he's like, how did you know I've been to the moon? And he turns into mist. As you pass through his chest, you move on towards which one of the monkeys?
I want to take out the orangutan looking one, the guy that was controlling the gauntlet things on my hands. The smart one.
None of them are smart. I mean, they're all typical smartness.
Okay.
He was the magnetism power. Yeah, metal. Alright, so you go for the orangutan, and the gorilla is going to attempt to step in front of you. And he does. He moves up in front of you and moves to intercept. And he's like, woo, 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 woo. And he goes,
Alright.
as he beats his chest. Alright, so you made a D21 roll?
It's a green.
Okay, this is a good... So he's not great at fighting, to be honest.
Make an endurance, because I'm hitting him for 100 points of damage.
Okay, he gets a green. He raises up his hands and he goes, woo, woo, as he takes the hit, and he's nearly thrown off his feet. as you blast into him. Or were you trying to attempt to slam?
Yeah. Like
Alright,
in the
so he
box.
flies backwards, taking the blow, but as he hits the wall on the other side, he just reaches forward and pulls himself out of the metal and dusts the metal shards off, uninjured by the blow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. He's Reed says, "Watch out! That one is quite very resistant to damage. The other one has magnetism, and the last one is able to shapeshift, not just taking metallic and other material forms." As he spits out a long sentence very quickly, but other forms entirely.
Okay, so he takes a lot of damage. Do I just have to do more, or you want to like get inside his head?
You take him out. I'll work on the shape-shifting one. Johnny with me. Sue, take care of Red Ghost. Thing, you go after the baboon. And he says, "Yeah, you got it. I never liked the baboons anyways. They're too shrill for my delicate sensibilities." As he laughs and he charges at him. And as he charges, for a second you feel your hand get pulled back as Evie is like getting pulled by the magnetic force. And then he directs his attention to the thing and he starts throwing shards at him. And he just puts his hands over his face and as he charges through it.
Okay. Yeah, man, I'm gonna go toe to toe with this gorilla guy. Does he look like, when I hit him, did it seem like he had some form of body armor?
That's what Reed just told you.
Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah, we're gonna do the autopsy special, and we're gonna study this guy to get through the body armor.
You quickly realize that he has no weaknesses in his body resistance.
Okay.
All right.
I see you're like me.
Yep.
Monkey see, monkey do, huh?
So as you take that moment around to study him, you come to that conclusion quickly. Meanwhile, he comes for you, like a hopped up angry gorilla.
And is he bigger than a normal gorilla?
No, he's just a regular gorilla.
Okay.
So he charges at you, leaps up into the air, and boom, slams his fists down with a green, I believe. Yep. Off to the side, you see Reed lunge forward, and he wraps up the feet of the baboon.
No, because Thing was taking on
The thing is taking on the orangutan. He called it a baboon, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Reed wraps up the feet of the metallic orangutan, and then kind of turns into a spring and shoots him up into the air. At that, Johnny the Human Torch raises up his hands and he says, "You're gonna heat up well. Flame on!" And he just like starts toasting him as he turns into red hot metal. And the baboon's like,
That's a white for me.
white. Alright, the gorilla comes up and he boom catches you right up under the chin with a gorilla-like strength times like 100 as he hits you for 50 points of damage.
Ooh.
Minus your body resistance, so.
Monkey packs a punch.
Yep.
You said 50?
Yeah, so what is that, 30 for you? Into your iron will?
35. So, alright, so I'll take that into iron.
It can't be
will, so it's
35. You don't have 15 points. You have 15 points of body resistance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 25 or 20. Okay.
No. I've been up. I'm in fact. I'm thinking. I'm kind of topped out where I want to be for my powers.
I think you should.
I have a couple more talents, but
Yeah.
I think I'm right where I want to be.
Yeah, you're very durable. So,
Yeah.
extremely durable.
I don't think I want to. I don't think it makes sense to have a body resistance higher than like secondary adamantium, anyways. So.
Well, I mean, secondary adamantium is unearthly.
And why was Ralph's armor? Why did that? That he had the.
Because it didn't protect. It didn't protect you everywhere.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, I wanted to have the equivalent of that without the like the goofiness of the armor.
Yeah. So you get slammed and you fly up into the air. You then flip around a couple times and you come back down at him. Off to the side as you're doing that, you see the thing rushing forward. He's boom, 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 smashing through these pieces of metal. And Sue's like shooting out force fields as she tries to snatch the red ghost who's zipping around. And then you are the first one to notice this. It's the gorilla's rushing at you. The countdown is at 10, 9, 8, and that's when you see
man.
it.
I'm going to. So it's counting down. Does Evie have the ability to stop it, or is it protected by Reed's firewalls?
Yes, it's protected.
Right.
So as you look at it, you look over and you see Franklin's eyes glowing again, and it says, Mr. Contain, you need to get up there and in front of it. You could do this.
All right, kid.
And I got this one. As he comes over and he like raises up his hands and he tries to grab hold of it, and then you see Valerie jump down and like trip the. She gets on her hands and knees and she trips the gorilla that was charging you.
All right, yeah. Then yeah, I'm gonna like leap for that thing, the top of it, and then basically like try and control it and like hurl it into space.
Okay. As you were like, you fly up to the top of it, it goes poof, and shoots up, and they're like, "Oh, the rocket!"
And I think there's like a giant like full page panel of like Ralph like ah.
Yeah, blasted against it, and then you push yourself up and against it, and then you hear out of Evie, and straight into your ears, as she's able to do. You hear her say, "We're patching in a message," and you hear pew pew pew, and you hear the gorilla sound going ooh 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 ooh, and then you hear Valerie say, "Mr. Contain, pew pew," as it sounds like she has some sort of laser pistol and is shooting the gorilla. You need to punch a hole through the nose cone at about 15 degrees right of center. Then you'll be able to take control, rip out its control module.
15 degrees right of center.
Make a reason roll.
Okay. Is Evie able to help me with like triangulation?
You can make Evie make a reason roll.
All right, yeah, we'll do that. She's on fantastic. Yeah, that's a green.
She says, "Got this. I got this, Ralph." And then she shoots like a radio wave blast, and it heats up a section of the nose cone for where you need to hit.
Okay. Thanks, Evie. And then I'll do like a call shot and like punch through it with like shadow powers like all around my fist.
Yeah.
And I'll look at the control nodule and just like grab it.
Yeah, as you
pull it out.
punch your hand in there, you hit like a little metal box, and then you hear, should be a little metal box encased in a very dense metal. Grab hold of it and rip it out, and then you should be able to direct the missile wherever you need it to go.
Yeah, I'll pull right out.
Okay, it rips out, and then the missile's just still shooting straight up into the air. You are at the outer limits of the atmosphere now.
Gotta hold her breath here, Evie.
Yeah. And at that point in time, it's still on its old flight pattern, so you can feel it start to turn in the air, and it start to go back down.
Quick, Evie, you gotta send this into the sun.
So what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna direct it to go into the sun.
Okay, you fly off to the side and then bash into it. You strain all of your muscles, make a strength roll. But actually, you know what? You can make a flight roll.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. This is a good instance. I mean, it didn't get out to full speed, but this is probably going to destroy New York if you don't save the day.
All right, so then that bounces it up one shift.
125.
Yep, 125. So autopsy's like right at the outer limits, where you can see like the blackness.
Yeah, you get those. As you're straining, your vision gets blurry, and you get those little spots in your eyes. And you're like, yeah. And then it overpowers you because you only got a green still, right?
So I spend karma to bounce it up.
Well, do it on the next one then, okay? Because what happens is it starts to immediately. It does. It completes its turn, and now it's going down. It's even harder as you're up against it, and you're like the Spider-Man against the train kind of thing, Spider-Man 2 or whatever. You're like, as you're pushing against it with all your might, but it's too much. You want to spend karma on this one?
That's how many rounds I have my adrenal surge going. It's
okay.
1d10. And all right, then I'll be like.
And I'm actually going to say this: you have 3 rounds until I'm back, so you've got 2 more attempts.
Okay, and I'll be like, oh, come on, kids are counting on you. You can't let down Valerie and Franklin. Come on, Ralph. Just gonna keep pushing up. 45. I think that's is that still a green? That's still a green.
Okay. So
For dramatic purposes, I'm still gonna have he's there. I won't spend karma yet. I'm still gonna be straining.
Way to go. Way to lean into it. As you get down, you look down behind you as a moment of hesitation, and you realize that you're now back at the level where you can see the buildings start to appear in the New York skyline. You're like, ugh. And it's one of those. It's one of those moments where Ralph gives himself a little prep speech, like when Spider-Man. You've seen that comic panel where it's like. Spider-Man trapped under destroyed base.
Is that the one where Dr. Octopus collapses it on it?
Yeah. Here it is. Yeah, you I don't know what kind of kind of impassioned speech you kind of give yourself, but it's like one of these, right?
Yeah, I think he says, Ralph, your life's been hard up to this point. You can't quit now. Come on, Ralph. You can do this. You're Autopsy. You can do this. He's gonna push up. And yeah, there we go. There's a yellow.
Okay. So you and you give it one last push, and thanks to the adrenal surge, you're able to redirect it, and it goes poof, and it blasts forward as you let go, and you're exhausted as the adrenal surge leaves your body. Poof, you fall backwards, and you are about to smack into the top of the Baxter building from about 50 feet away when you're caught on a velvety force field and gently lowered onto the building top. As you look back down, you see the invisible woman holding a gaseous form of red ghost in a little invisible force field. Ben has holding a knocked out orangutan that he with a big black eye. The kids have seem to have repurposed some sort of defensive measure to wrap up the gorilla that has got a lot of blisters from where it's been shot at point blank with laser beams.
A big net, like a big.
Yeah. And then the baboon's just sitting there looking real sad, and it's sweating profusely, which you didn't know baboons could do, but it just looks extremely uncomfortably hot. Yeah, and at that, the red ghost is like, "Damn you, Fantastic Four! Ow, you haven't seen the last of the red ghost." And they say, "Yeah, unfortunately, I'm afraid you're right, but you'll at least get to spend the next couple years in prison." And at that, they're like, they kind of push him off to the side. A bunch of like robots come over and slap him in cuffs and take him down to the police that are waiting. And they come over to you, and then one of them reaches over. Who do you want to be the one that helps you up to your feet?
I think it should be Valerie, right? Or like Valerie, but then like I'm like super heavy, right? I'm like 220 pounds, and then like Franklin like helps like push me up using his like.
All right,
powers.
so the kids come over and they grab your hand and they just try to pull you up, and you're like, you do one of those like you're almost playing sort of things where you just kind of and you slowly pull yourself up as they lift you up, and you're out of breath, but you're fine. So, and they're like, hey, good job, Autopsy. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for getting that monkey off my back. Really appreciate that.
Valerie laughs at that, and Franklin's just like nods his head. And at that, Ben laughs hard, and Johnny looks at everybody. He's like, "What did I miss?" and Sue and Reed just kind of like interlock arms, and they laugh as the whole scene kind of fades to black.
Yeah, super great. Dude, that's awesome. That's super fun. That's so good. I've never heard of the Crimson Ghost.